Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Tempo Bestmed Wellness Program series. So this week we have got Neil Bester with us. He's a qualified sports scientist. He's got his own gym, and he's going to be discussing the roadmap to weight loss success. So guys, we're going to be delving in all the weight loss tips, where's all the flaws, and what you need to do to get those beach bodies ready. Welcome, Neil, and thank you very much for joining us. And
Awesome, Quibus. I think really awesome topic to obviously be speaking about. I find a lot of people in my day-to-day that come and visit the gym make a lot of common mistakes, which we're obviously going to highlight and dive a little bit deeper into that. And then also find themselves doing the right thing, but not understanding they're doing the right thing. They just don't know how to piece it together. So day-to-day, the individuals that come here aren't doing everything incorrectly. They're doing bits and pieces correctly, bits and pieces incorrectly, and we can just identify how do we put that roadmap together, what needs to be done, what is that we have to let go of, and then just take it from there. So really awesome topic and awesome to get into.
Right. Looking forward to it. So in general, what's the type of client or what's their motivator, when they do arrive at your gym? What normally motivates them? What's their driving factor? What are their goals at the end of the day? What do they want to achieve?
So I would say in the type of setup and what I've seen across the board in the previous gyms I've worked at, and then obviously opening myself, is accountability and obviously professional help. A lot of people don't know what to do. So you've got these educated individuals and you're not really taught in school, I would say, optimally how to optimize health and what are the key factors what you need to look after. A lot of us take it for granted that are in the health industry. Keep in mind, we've studied the 3, 4, 5 years, so on, and we've gained those tools and experience to know what needs to be done. So main factor, I would say, accountability, just having somebody to hold them accountable in their goals, as well as just understand what needs to be done. So clientele, they come in looking for help, saying, Neil, this is my goal, this is my objective. What needs to be done in my day-to-day life? The roadmap will tie it in there once again. And obviously, just also hold me accountable. Book in a session Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. There are availabilities throughout the week up until Saturday, Sunday off. So biggest things is having somebody to say, you know what, Quibus, you said you wanted to achieve this. Are you doing what needs to be done to achieve this, as well as what needs to be done to achieve the goal?
No, basically someone's waiting there for you at the end of the day. I've seen also, during COVID, we started breaking away from the gym setup and people started training at home and stuff. And yes, initially, I think it was a huge success, but I think that factor that you mentioned now, the accountability of actually going somewhere, someone is waiting for you, or having a partner to train with you, it does help and it does motivate you. And I think you also tend to maybe train a little bit longer and harder because you've got someone there basically policing you to push you, basically. Yeah.
I'd even say it's automating the whole approach. So a lot of individuals, their day-to-day life, they're waking up, 8 to 5 is their working hours. They almost want to just have something to plug and play and tick the box. So coming to the gym almost mindless as a form of meditation, not having to think what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, how much time they need to spend, but basically saying, Neil, this is what needs to be done. And that's my
And you need to go and figure it out, that plan. Yes, exactly. As you say, mindless.
It's same as going to restaurants. You're not going to spend the 2-3 hours cooking, cleaning, preparing the dish. You're going to go to the restaurant, order the meal, and there you've got what you needed without having that extra story to it.
Yeah.
So I would say biggest thing as well is fast tracking the process. Just not having to think themselves and try upskill themselves in what needs to be done, but leaving it in a professional's hands and then taking it from there.
Yeah, that's so true. And then also, what do people prefer? Training in the mornings, afternoons, late? What works for best? Or is it dependent on, each person's different. Some people are more productive in the mornings. Some people are more productive, they want to finish their work and get here and then do their gym sessions. What's
So
best?
very cool question, I would say, in the sense that if I look at my classes, morning classes are the busiest. Your 5 to 6, 6 to 7, just before work, the school drop off, 8 to 9. The morning slots are at my spots busy. The afternoons, it's a drop off. There are people that still come. Say it's preference up to the individual. Obviously, everyone has different careers. Some might be in similar industries, but I find the trend is morning before work, get it done. You've ticked the box. You've started the day. It's very difficult. I find most of the time I see more cancellations in the afternoon than in the morning. And even heading now into winter, autumn, I've seen the numbers stay in the morning and afternoon drop off just because after a long day of work, after a long day of just activities, mental, that motivation is not there. Whereas when you wake up in the morning, you've booked a class or you've set that routine and having the schedule there, you've locked it in. And it's quite easy. There's not really motivation. It's more just discipline. Wake up, get it done, and you've got that task done. So,
And then what is most people's goals? Is most people just they want to lose weight, they want to get active, they want to just, because I'm also at that personal stage where I just want to, feel good, energetic. It's all about mental wellness also. So it's not just about, looking good in the mirror, but also just that, being productive, being, aware and mentally aware at the end of the day.
so if you look at why people train, you obviously got your individuals that are training as a career, your professional athletes. They need to earn an income. There is no shoulda, coulda, woulda. You have to. You have to rock up to the gym. You have to go hit the session. Majority of other people that come through the doors and wanting to train, biggest thing I would say, weight loss, posture, increasing that muscle mass, which feeds onto the weight loss. Their main thing is to just maintain the physique, maintain or fix injuries if they have predisposed injuries from sports, and build that bulletproof body, I would say, ready for anything. So exactly how you stated there, just prepping your body so that you can be confident in any environment and be confident in just your day-to-day tasks. So mental health, a massive thing. I find a lot of people come to train just to switch off once again. And that time to not have to instruct people, put Excel spreadsheets together, do basically your day-to-day work, but actually take a step back and enjoy that hour in your day.
It's basically your time for yourself at the end of the day. Yeah, that's excellent. And then generally also with your fitness training regimes. So people come, they do their training sessions. Is there also guidance with regards to meal plans? Do you also sort of, coach them what to eat, when to eat it, and all of that? Is meal prepping important? Is it, nutritional education important to those members? What are your thoughts?
So with training, nutrition, performance, lifestyle, it's not just one thing that works. It's a whole choice of lifestyle changes that you need to put together. Nutrition falls into some of the key principles, I would say. Nutrition, training, your sleep and hydration, stress management. So it's one piece in a few other pieces. And one of the most important, I would say, obviously with weight loss, the calorie deficit, you'll hear it a lot on social media, in just online. And when you're reaching out or searching online and just finding out how you're going to lose weight, one of the biggest things is that calorie deficit. With regards to the meal prepping, I think it is important. Not I think, I know it's important.
Everybody have the self-discipline, and how do you instill it? I think, yes, you're coming out, out of a sports science sort of background. You've got that self-discipline, that commitment. Like not everybody has the time, and people with kids, where do they find the time to prep them, prep food and plan it out? And it's difficult.
It is. So following on that, and that's where it is difficult sometimes to, in my head, it's almost like this is the goal, this is what needs to be done. So personally, like you said, it's just a matter of getting it done. For a lot of people, it is difficult. It's setting the time, picking up the kids from school. So meal prep, it's the exact same as training and coming to a gym. You set it in your routine, you plan in it ahead, you understand what needs to be done. With regards to the meal prep, on that Sunday, on that Saturday, just understanding what needs to be eaten or eaten during the week, how we need to prep it, what's going to save time. A lot of us, most of the time, don't get around to eating correctly just because we lose time or we don't make time. And then you end up binge eating. So meal prep, I would say for 9.5 people out of 10 is essential. It's important because
Is it sustainable? That's the question. Because a lot of times, people maybe start with a bang. They're motivated. They've just now come. They started training. But do most people stay with it? Do they stick with it? It's difficult, As you say, either on a Saturday or Sunday, meal prepping, preparing your food, everything planned out, and putting it in the freezer, on the fridge. It's difficult, but how do you sustain it? How do you keep motivated?
I think with sustainability, motivation, it all comes down in the beginning to setting realistic goals. So with training, with nutrition, if you're going to go out too hot, if you're going to just go out and set unrealistic goals, I would say, you're not going to stick to it. Creating that sustainability and sticking to something is just how you start in the beginning. The best way I explain to clients with regards to training, with regards to eating, meal prep, just anything with regards to performance is making it as simple as they can for themselves. Instead of meal prepping these extravagant meals, what are your basics that you need? You need your fats, you need your carbs, you need your protein. What are my favorite foods I'm eating? I like chicken, I like beef, I like eggs, falls into protein. So just almost getting 5 of your favorite protein sources, carb sources, fats, creating meals around that are diversified. And that's, in the long term, making the whole process simple. Obviously, you can add flavor, but what is your foundation and how is that foundation going to stick? You'll see individuals that start out and say, you know what, I want to eat 5 meals, I don't want to eat junk. It's not realistic. You need to say to yourself, okay, in week 1, if I'm eating 3 chocolates, I'm going to take it down to 2. Week 2, I might still only get to eat 2 chocolates. I've still kept that third one off. By the 3rd week, 4th week, you'll start seeing it ends up becoming half a chocolate and no chocolates, and then one of the days chocolates. So it's pretty much just setting sustainable, realistic goals from the get-go, and then building that confidence in yourself that you're following through with what you're doing.
As opposed to not going cold turkey and just cutting it off. Have you seen that? Yeah, if you sort of gradually start weaning off those bad habits and things, does it last, or is it better than to just go, sort of cold turkey? Depends on the personality.
I think very dependent on an individual, but if this answers your question, I would consider myself very disciplined with regards to training and obviously nutrition. It is difficult for me to completely go cold turkey with your carbs, your sugars, your extreme diets. There's a lot of talk of the keto, your carnivore diets. They have their place. Quitting your sugars, quitting smoking, quitting overeating you can do it, but it's difficult. It's difficult for the best of athletes, for the most disciplined people. So instead of going cold turkey, and I like to tell everyone, like I say, is just see if you'll get to that 80-20%. 80% is good, what we consider good and perceive as good food. 20% is where you have room to niggle. As soon as it becomes at 50-50, then you pretty much, what are you, good or bad? What are you eating? So give yourself room to fail and don't beat yourself up, I would say, to most clients. Just, once again, set realistic. Say to yourself, okay, if I'm eating 10 things in a day, I need to eat 8 good and 2 I have room to play with.
Okay, you've mentioned the goal. So obviously, what causes that person to make those lifestyle changes? What causes a person to sort of pitch up here and say, listen, I want to do this. So you've got that long-term goal. What are those, those short-term, So how do you break up those goals? You've got your long-term the main goal, and then you've got your smaller little micro goals also, sort of thing, like
So
that they're trying to achieve. Like,
with regards to goals, obviously you have your North Star, where you want to get. It's not going to be tomorrow, it's not going to be the next day, but it's going to be in weeks and months to come. But that's your main goal that you set out.
that could be in the next 5 years.
Exactly.
5-year goal,
Or it could just be lifelong.
or
As an athlete, the goal is to get fitter and stronger. You're always going to want to be fitter than what you were last year. But if you look at yourself 10 years ago, you've accumulated way more fitness and strength than what you were. So goals are very dependent, obviously, on the individual. Some can be short-term, long-term. I want to lose 2 kgs in month 1. Short-term goal, very realistic for most individuals, for actually everyone. A healthy range is losing 1.2 to 1.5 kgs a week. Whereas your long-term, I want to lose 30 kgs over 12 to 24 months. Realistic, tough, but you're not going to lose 30 kgs in month 1. That's going to be a process to just tick away. And with goal setting with clients is obviously setting that main goal. I want to go to Paris Olympics. I've got 4 years to prepare. Or I want to lose 30 kgs. I've got 1 year to 2 years to put my mind to it. From there, you then break it down into what are the monthly, weekly improvements that you're going to see. Because if you set a massive goal and you're not seeing and monitoring those little small progresses and small little boxes that you check in, you're going to become demotivated. You're going to drop off because all you're focusing on is that main goal. Biggest thing with clients, set the big goal, be kind to yourself, and tick away day to day with the smaller like progress goals.
So would you say tracking is very important? You need to track and monitor on a weekly basis? Is it on a monthly basis? How do you sort of, police yourself and make sure that you still stay on track to reach those goals?
So you can see how the same principles are for athletes as well as your everyday athletes, your everyday person. But if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So if nothing's been measured, you don't know what needs to be improved. So answering that question, everything needs to be tracked. Weekly eating, are you in a calorie deficit? Remember, it's the net total. It's not what you did on Monday, but what you did from Monday to Sunday. With regards to nutrition, with training, it's not the one hard workout you did on Monday, but did you go to the 3 workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday and give yourself recovery? So just in saying that, that's already tracking how much did I eat, how much activity did I do. So measuring as much as you can, obviously not being so OCD and I ate 3 grams more protein than what I needed to, but giving yourself a window. I need to eat double my body weight in protein in grams. Let's call it 160 grams. Saying, okay, the lower end should be 140, the higher end should be 180. I've got room to play. Working out, give yourself 45 minutes to 60 minutes so that if you hit 45, you're not beating yourself up, but if you hit 60, you're still within that, and if you hit a little bit more. So it's basically setting that routine that you've got room to move, and then, but you can only do this if you're measuring what you're doing. So with regards to especially diet, tracking what you eat is probably one of the most important things. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. So tracking the diet as well as exercise, put those 2 things together over a month, you'll see, okay, I wanted to hit 12 sessions over the month, I only hit 8. Or I wanted to have a clean eating for the 4 weeks, but I only ate clean for 2 weeks. How can I improve in the next 4 weeks? And basically do a lifestyle audit.
Yeah, lifestyle audit, as you say. What you mentioned there, if you're not tracking, you're
slacking.
Yes, 100%. And then basically also, in your years of experience, how many days per week are we supposed to stay active? How many times, what's the duration normally? Would you suggest Is it 30 minutes? I know that I think the American College of Sports Medicine, they've made a suggestion on their guidelines, it's 3 times a week, 30 minutes of activity. But, for people that want to get those results, they want to, yes, whether it be weight loss or just be fit and, for longevity reasons, what are the best results? What would you suggest?
So you can look at it, if you classify yourself beginner, intermediate, advanced. I would consider advanced your high-performing athlete, Olympic athlete, professional athlete, or somebody that has about 2 to 3 years experience in the gym. You're looking at 4 to 7 days a week. Obviously, you understand how your body performs. For beginner, I would say 1 to 2 minimum. And for an intermediate, about 2 to 3 times a week. With the correct program for beginner and intermediate, 1 to 2 sessions with your increased activity in other forms of your life, walking upstairs, parking far away from the entrance, just increasing that activity. In the gym, strength training, mobility, 1 to 2 times a week, intermediate, 2 to 3 times a week. As much as you train, you also need to recover. So recovery, a massive part of it, and goes back to that longevity. If you're going into the gym and every day you're waking up sore, the likelihood of you going back to the gym, you're not going to. Whereas if you do a quality session, you do wake up the next day feeling a little bit tender, sore, muscle soreness, very natural with fitness programs. Give yourself that day of active recovery, going for a walk, and then complete another workout a little bit later in the week, followed by active recovery. Now you've done 1 workout, 2 workouts, and you've got 2 days of an active recovery workout. So 4 days of, and that's for beginner, intermediate. It will follow the trend, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But if you're looking at a time, they've put out the 10,000 steps, which I think should be the bare minimum. If you work in an office job, it is very difficult to get to the 10,000 steps, but that's a very achievable goal to set out to if you're looking at just entering a fitness program, as well as 150 minutes, or you can say 2.5 to 3 hours a week. That's what science and researchers have come out and said. But once again, longevity, if you're doing nothing, once a week's already better than none.
Basically, yeah. Then beginners, those people that normally want to kick off. What are the, I almost want to say, flaws that trainers normally, put people through? Because people normally, what I've seen is that they pitch up at a CrossFit studio, or they, and then at first session they're already doing jumps and plyometrics and stuff. Next day they can't walk, and they're sitting with they don't want to go back. So for someone that sort of goes, they want to start off now at the gym, they want to maybe join a CrossFit studio, or they want to start walking with someone, or what are the normal things to look out for, to not put them off, from, so they go back,
I would say biggest thing, exactly what you mentioned there, complexity. Something being way too complex in the beginning. You have to walk before you can run. So a lot of dropouts I've seen is people going and performing activities or going to fitness centers, CrossFit, the likes of CrossFit, New Fad, High Rocks, and just going too hard, too quickly, and waking up the next day and might be even experiencing something called DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness, which is excruciating even for your highest trained individual. So biggest thing that I've seen is the complexity and just going out too quickly. Performing movements, you can't, and I'll use a reference, squat with a barbell. So a steel bar, your plates on either side, before you've mastered the bodyweight squat. So plyometrics, you need to have a level of strength. So plyometrics are very explosive movements before you can actually perform it. So complexity.
Sorry, let me just interrupt you there. So remember the plyometrics, I just want to mention to our members, plyometrics is jumps, explosive power, which is a lot of times you'll see people want to perform box jumps and frog jumps and all those type of things. So, which is obviously that's more advanced. It's more on a sports level. type of thing. Yes, you as a normal person, yes, you can bring it in, incorporate it later, but I think that's normally in general for sports, sports performance type of athletes. Yeah.
I think a good example is I trained a BMX cyclist for the 2020. It ended up being 2021 because of COVID, Tokyo Olympics. And at the time, gyms were closed, so we had to train in my garage. And in the garage, there was a barbell, so the steel bar. We had a few bumper plates, a squat rack, and a kettlebell. And he was able to do his strength efficiently to prepare him for the Olympic Games. And what goes to show there is that you don't have to do complexity, you just have to do the basics correctly. So if you're looking at doing a lower body movement, you don't have to do 10 different exercises, but you have to master 2 to 3 and progress on those. So your main movements, obviously your lower body, body weight squats, lunges, step ups. If you just do those 3 exercises and progress continuously, you will see results. Your upper body, obviously, your push-ups, you got pull-ups if you are able to do. Otherwise, ring rows, bent over rows. Same thing, 1, 2, 3 exercises, and then just progress from there. So I think with regards to exercising for beginners, entering a program, basics, understanding your body, how it moves, protecting yourself, and then progressing from there.
Perfect. Would you suggest isolating muscles, or because you've mentioned now squats and lunges and push-ups? Those are all sort of multi-muscle type of exercises, multi-joint exercises. Would you say that those are more beneficial if you want to achieve weight loss, as opposed to now sort of isolating a specific muscle and just working, the arm or, the calf muscle or that sort of thing?
I personally am a fan of your compound movements, which Kobus just explained there, multi-joint. When you're squatting, the hips, the knees, the ankles, there's movement through all those joints. Personally, compound movements, I don't see anything wrong with isolating muscles, but if you've got 30 to 45 minutes, 2 times a week, you want to do movements that are going to benefit you the most. So if you've got 6 days a week and you've got an hour to train, then you can become more intricate and start adding those isolated exercises. If you're starting out Monday, Wednesday, twice a week, compound movements where you're hitting multiple muscles, helping obviously burn body fat through building muscle, burn more calories when you performing the likes of squats and lunges, just because you're working more muscles. So short on time or just a very efficient and effective workout, 3 to 5 compound movements, 45 minutes, and you've got a sustainable program.
Would you suggesting multiple, upper bodies, lower body sort of sessions, or would you suggest that just, one day just lower body, one day upper body, or is it a full body type of training program?
So there's many ways, many roads that lead to Rome, and you get the likes of, my preference would be upper, lower, or full bodies. So when I'm training clients, my split, I have classes that run from Monday to Saturday, and I'm sure this will best explain this. But on a Monday, we do lower body. On a Tuesday, we do upper body. And then on a Wednesday, we do full body. And then we repeat the process. Where the change comes in, obviously, different exercises are used in the different days, eliciting different results. But I split it in upper, lower, full. Twice a week. There's a lot of studies that have come out. Full bodies are very effective. So beginners, intermediate, the 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. Upper, lower, full, or 2 full bodies. Those would be my best pick.
Oh, excellent. Then previously, just to bring back, you were mentioning winter. So, people sort of sometimes fall off the bandwagon. We've got now winter sort of coming up. How do people stay motivated? What would you suggest if they don't want to go to the gym anymore? How do we keep motivated to try and maybe, still stay active, either in the morning or maybe late afternoon, still do something, or, You know, what can people do?
I would say start off with finding someone you're going to go to the gym with or starting a program with. If myself and you start a program and we say for 12 to 16 weeks, we want to see our results and what we can achieve, the days that I don't feel like it, there's not going to be many days that you don't feel like it as well. That's where your accountability, your partner, if you don't have a trainer, is going to help you and say, check in. You know what, Cobus, did you train today? Neil, I didn't feel like it. Cobus, remember the goal in the next 12 to 16 weeks. Winter for a lot of people is very tough for most individuals, especially if you start in your fitness journey. If you're starting in one of the toughest periods, being darker mornings, colder mornings, you're layering up. It's mission to take the layers off, put them back on, get to the gym. I would say accountability partner, even 2 to 3 friends. It doesn't need to be just one person, but maybe form a group and say, hey guys, this is my mission, this is my goal. Are you in? We've been speaking about it, but let's work as a team and try, check in, do sessions together, maybe, be it on Zoom if you can't get together, or maybe just meet at the gym.
Excellent. Okay, let's delve into the nutritional side of things. Supplementation. Would you suggest people that just start now? I see a lot of people, they go to pharmacies, they just go and see someone there on the floor, and obviously that person says, no, you need this shake, you need these pills, you need this and whatnot. Is it beneficial? Is there, what would you suggest for someone that's just starting now? They want to sort of lose weight, they want to get healthier, feel better, and just be more energetic. Is it important to take those supplements? And also what should they look for specifically?
Okay, so obviously with weight loss, performance, foundations, basics need to be 100%. A supplement is an add-on, but you can't add on something that's not good. If you don't have your basic day-to-day routines and meals correct, a supplement's not going to change anything. If you've got your everyday eating correct, a supplement's going to add to it. I've got 4 supplements that I will mention now before I just mention my first part. Weight loss is all on the calorie deficit, calories in versus calories out. So increasing your activity and eating in a deficit, less calories. Biggest thing that I tell individuals along with the supplementation, I'm not a nutritionist, but take your body weight, times it by 2. That's going to be the amount of protein that you need to eat every day. If you increase that protein, it's going to add to your calories, obviously, but it's going to make you feel more full. Something called satiety. You're increasing that protein. You're now helping that muscle regenerate. Your fats and carbs are your fuel. So first thing, take your body weight times it by 2 in pounds. That's going to be the amount of protein you need to eat. So myself, 75 is going to be 150 grams of protein. Supplements, vitamin D. Even though we live in SA and there's a lot of sun, a lot of people have been shown to be vitamin D deficient. Something that really helps with digestion, a lot of benefits across the board. In the morning, your omega-3s and 6s. Obviously, there's so many brands out there. You just need to be getting it in. So vitamin D, omega-3, creatine. I'm a big fan of creatine. So 5 grams every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, days that you train and days that you don't train. It doesn't just have performance benefits, but mental health benefits. And then lastly would be your hydration, your electrolytes, potassium, magnesium, sodium. It's been shown that excess sodium is more beneficial than being like low in sodium. You have more negative side effects when you're sodium deficient. So to sum that up again, vitamin D, omega-3s, 6s, your hydration as well as creatine, and then taking your body weight times in by 2, and that's the amount of protein.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly delve into the creatine side of things. So what do people need to look out for? I know that previously I've heard monohydrates, and, is that something, is that a specific make? Is that a specific type of creatine or what? And, obviously creatine, as you mentioned, it does help for energy, but also for your mental wellness at the end of the day. So, if people go to a pharmacy, what do they need to look out for specifically to know that it's a good quality creatine?
So with regards to supplements, protein and creatine are probably the two most researched supplements on the market. Creatine, I think, trumps protein. When you're looking at what supplements you want to buy, because you're going to now walk into the pharmacy, there's going to be 20 different brands, names, and just a marketing scheme. You can't change creatine monohydrate. What you get from one brand is going to be the same as the other brand. It's approved by the FDA. It's been through massive research. They can't sell you one thing different to the other brand. So what you're looking for is creatine monohydrate. I'm not brand specific. It can be any brand. Just look for the brand, obviously, that's easiest on your pockets. You don't want to go spend thousands on just buying something that could cost you 150 Rand. So creatine monohydrate, when you're taking that 5 grams every single day, 5 grams, it's a teaspoon. Most creatines come with a little scoop. And then with protein, personally, a whey protein, no fillers, no sugars, no added preservatives, but basically a clear whey protein and monohydrate. You can pick it from any brand. They all come from, I would think, come from the same factory at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I think basically the protein, as you've mentioned previously, it's almost your last resort. You want to go the natural route first, see where you're lacking and slacking, and then maybe look at the protein sort of supplement as an extra. And then just for the members with the creatine, remember it does come naturally in the body also. So you see it in biltong, in meat, it's in the body. So I think it's also just sort of an extra supplement that you can also take, as you mentioned, which is very beneficial. And there's a lot of research with regards to that also.
So to clear your brain, if there is any, just being scared to take it, there is like uncertainty. You don't exactly know what it is. It's something new. I wouldn't say new, but it's new to you in your lifestyle. They are on the WADA list in the sense that WADA has cleared it. It's not illegal. So WADA is your World Anti-Doping Agency. So if I'm able to give it to my athletes that compete on the highest level and it's not considered doping or a banned substance, it's probably one of the most looked at supplements on the market, and massive amounts of benefits. Creatine, like you say, in your salmon, in your red meat, you're already eating creatine without even knowing that you're eating creatine. So biggest thing obviously is just with the supplements, whatever you take in, it's an add-on to what you're already doing correctly.
Okay, that's excellent. And then let's delve a bit into BMI. I know this is now completely different type of topic and stuff. A lot of people always go for their assessments, with their personal trainer or at the pharmacy or at a wellness event. They get the BMI measured. Is BMI important? Is that sort of a gauge that you need to look at? What's the difference between BMI and body fat?
So you got a lot of tests that individuals will undergo. And the best way to look at it is BMI and something else, what's known as your waist to hip ratio, or your health tests that can just indicate something's out. You've got your body fat percentage, which is more performance, and just seeing your subcutaneous that fall under performance, your VO2, your 1 rep max squat. A lot of tests are looked at performance. Other tests are looked at health tests. So your body mass index, it's just going to see what level you fall into from an obesity standpoint. It needs to be between, and you can correct me, 18 and 23.
Yeah, 18.5 and 24.9.
24.9.
Yeah, the norms.
The norms that you fall in. If you do fall into a little bit of a higher norm, obviously take a look at it and see why, because it basically looks at your height and the amount of weight that you're carrying. So guys that are a little bit short and carry more muscle mass will sometimes be considered obese when they've got little to no body fat around their body. So it's a good stat to look at and understand, but that's where your waist to hip ratio comes in, where you take a tape measure, you measuring around your belly button as well as around your hips, the largest part of your bum, and you're just seeing how much fat is around the visceral. There's stats, there's calculators that you can go online, work it out, and that visceral fat BMI is one stat. Visceral fat is the most important to understand. Are you carrying more fat around the organs? So 2 health stats, BMI and your waist to hip ratio. Subcutaneous is more for just to see performance really and physical changes.
Excellent, excellent. Then I see that cold plunging, cold showers, all those things are coming now also, making a lot of headway. And is there benefit to it for weight loss specifically? Would you lose weight? What are your thoughts on that?
I view cold plunging as more of a mental. It has proven to reduce inflammation. Inflammation is a response from your body to protect your body. When you get injured, sprain your ankle, you inflame. When you build muscle, you inflame after you're working out. Inflammation is good. That's your body's natural coping mechanism. So cold plunging for me personally is more mental. So it does decrease your inflammation, as I said, but waking up, the dopamine that's been released from cold plunging, very good mentally. With regards to body fat, I haven't read or seen anything with regards to weight loss. That all comes down to obviously your nutritional choices, the activity level, as well as your eating. So no, cold plunging, I haven't seen anything from my side. It's more from a recovery point of view, as well as just the dopamine release.
Yeah. Look, obviously, as you said, it's more sports performance. I have seen, online some research also, where guys lose, a good amount of weight and stuff, obviously, remember, boost the metabolism, put your body is under a bit of stress, but at the end of the day, you recover better and you've got a better training session next time also. So, I can attest to it, years ago also, we had cricket team that had to sort of do recovery after their sessions. And we had a 5-day match, and the guys that did their cold plunging and the guys that didn't, you could see there was a definite difference between sports performance, concentration, and all of that. So I do from my side. I think I would sort of urge it on.
Definitely. No, definitely. So now that you say that, I should have put context. If you're looking at building muscle, cold plunging may hinder that inflammation, which is going to help you increase. If you're looking at it from performance, what I've seen from a recovery, 1000%. So after that hard rugby match session, when I worked with the rugby guys in varsity, every match they were jumping into the pool, ice buckets, in the dustbins, basically filling with ice. So performance, definitely. Pure muscle building, it can mess a little around, but it's so minimal that cold plunging on the whole, a big positive.
Excellent. Okay, and then the final question just for us before we wrap up, just your 5 top tips to lose weight. How do we make sure that people stay on track, get those results? What are the top 5 tips from your side?
Okay, so as we've gone through, set realistic goals. Right in the beginning, what do I want to achieve? How am I going to achieve it? Accountability. So be it going to a gym class, buying a gym contract, finding a friend that's going to come on the process with you. Number 2, accountability. 3 would be calorie deficit. That's the main thing that's going to help you lose your body fat. Eating less, more activity. I would say 5. The first 3.
We need to push all those tips. People want to get their beach bodies ready. They want to get those definite results at the end of the day. Yeah.
Having a structured training program that consists of strength as well as your mobility as well as your cardiovascular. So something that is all encompassing. that's not going to just be one dimensional, so to say, where it's just strength, but what's going to
don't want to
prepare you.
just train your legs.
Exactly.
You just train your upper body. There needs to sort of be balance and structure in your program.
Exactly. So obviously an optimal training program that's best suited for you. Not every program is going to be effective for you. There might be slight changes, and that's what you will learn, and a professional will help you, will see that. The last one is obviously your recovery, hydration, sleep. Big thing is stress management. So my 5 is just looking after what I like to know, will consider biopsychosocial, your environment, your mind, and your body.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent. I think that is it for today then. That is it from Neil Bester, sports scientist. Thank you very much for joining the Bestmed Tempo program, and we look forward to the next webinar.
Awesome. Thanks, Phyllis. Awesome, guys.